But he's in Lothlorien, which is super, super nice as a hero force dude.
So my cat almost fell off the top of my
Jesus Christ! Oh my god! I thought you were trying to swat a fly.
Oh. Sam, you're literally Frodo right now.
He is the hero.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gollum's Gamers, where today I'm joined by Ali here for a 8:30 AM pod this morning. It's an early call time here today, but we are here to discuss the Legacies of Middle-earth documents that were finally released yesterday by Games Workshop. There's some mixed opinions in the community on these legacy models and everything surrounding this. So today we'll be giving our take on the situation as a whole, as well as discussing the profiles and army lists from these legacy documents that are going to be added into the game very soon, or not added into the game, which I guess is sort of the whole point here. It's a very weird situation we're in. Anyway, as always, you can find us on Instagram and Spotify by following the links in the description down below. And if you do enjoy all of the MESBG content that we make, please do remember to subscribe to us here on YouTube. So, Ali, I think first of all, we should touch on kind of everything, the headline topic here, just the whole legacy situation, how it's unfolded. So I guess, first of all, where I'd like to start is with the whole delivery of this system and the system itself by Games Workshop. I think over the sort of couple years that we've been doing the podcast and things now, I think I've been fairly sort of pro GW. I think sort of like, tend to give them like, the benefit of the doubt and all this sort of thing, trying to stay sort of like not too negative and all that sort of thing. And I'm not going to be today, but I think this whole system that they've done here is pretty horrendous. I'm not going to lie. Like, obviously, they want to remove these profiles from the game, but they were, I guess, afraid that people were going to be really annoyed that had happened so suddenly.
So I think it's less they wanted to remove the profiles from the game, more they've been told they need to remove the models.
Sure. So
or something like that. The problem is there's always a much more complicated
story
than we'll ever be told.
However they got to it, they have to or wanted to remove X things from the game. So now we've ended up with the system where if you want to play a particular army list, say Khazad-dûm, as you're very familiar with, if you walk into a shop and you pick up the Armies of the Lord of the Rings book, or one that Khazad-dûm wouldn't even be in there anyway, but one of these army lists that's in the Armies of the Lord of the Rings or Armies of the Hobbit, those two books, well, what we had previously, we all know that system, that's fine. You pick that up and you don't even know what you can actually use in that army list. You can see part of it, but then you need to go to two separate places, to the Armies of Middle-earth book, and then also to these legacy profiles to know
and then probably the FAQ and the erratas.
And then there will be FAQs as well. So, obviously, previously we had the supplement books, so I'm not saying that this is like a brand new thing. Like, if you had stuff that was, you wanted to play Rohan, there was things in War in Rohan, so you needed that book as well. But now we've added more and more places that you have to go, and like, without Tabletop Admiral, and huge shout out to, I think it's Andrew, for, putting all that together so quick. But it's just a mess. I don't know how this is the best way.
I don't think it is, and I don't think it's the way that they would, like, as in the Middle-earth team, would want to do it.
Making the decisions then?
Yeah, but often it's not the actual rules writers who make the decisions, to be fair.
But I wonder how much like the shareholders and people like that though would go, oh yeah, let's split this into 3 books, and like surely some of the it's
probably less the shareholders, more the lawyers going, you have to have the non-movie stuff separate from the movie stuff, which is why we've got those books split. I mean, it's definitely motivating me to get like a tablet just to have the PDF.
Yeah.
I mean, practicality is not much different to what we had towards the end of last edition, where some armies you're going to have 3 or 4 books in theory.
Yeah, but if it was just like you had the armies book and then a supplement, and then if there was an FAQ, but now we've got the armies book, there could be supplements coming as well. So you're going to have.
Last edition I had an army which I had to have two different supplements, the armies book, or three different supplements and the armies book.
We could end up in that situation anyway.
Oh yeah, we will do. I mean, we're kind of
got on top of it armies book and legacies, and I don't know.
I mean, they're not charging us for legacies rules, so.
Fine. Okay. So I guess that leads us into the whole, about the legacy profiles themselves. So they have released these, and in the article, they sort of said that these will not be used in Games Workshop match play events, but they've said that they've put lots of time into sort of balancing them and things.
Yeah.
It isn't as anything in here that seems. There's a few things that seem really, really good, but there's nothing that seems insanely game breaking. But none of this is going to be balanced. None of this is going to be looked at. They are never going to tweak anything or FAQ anything that is in any of these articles. At least that's how they've made it seem.
Although,
so,
to be fair, they don't do that with the majority of models in the game.
But they've said, this is it. This is final for these particular things. Take it or leave it. And obviously, then that then sparks a whole conversation in the community on whether this stuff should or shouldn't be allowed. There's the one side of the fence which is, we now have all these rules back for the profiles that we love, we should be using these, everyone wants to use them. But then there's the other side of, well, is this really something that's gonna fit in moving forward with the current game that we actually have? I
see absolutely no reason for the remainder of this year why legacies shouldn't be allowed.
Sure.
I think this year, in like time plays out, if stuff becomes obviously like broken or unbalanced or outdated, TOs themselves will be able to make the decision. And then I think next edition will either see these profiles fully re-released with new models as like a new supplement in the game, like as they come along, or they would just by that point fade into the background, and it'll be 6 years after the models were available. So it's kind of
but next edition is a hell of a long way off, and I guess when they're balancing everything that they are officially supporting for the game, are they taking this stuff into account? I would think no, because this stuff is not being officially supported. So why would it be taken into account?
Well, it's been balanced now. In terms of so at the moment it is balanced.
Yes,
so it'd only be
in theory. But then as they change things about the game in 6 months, 12 months, moving on, obviously then the game will be in a different state to where it was. So then
in 6 months' time, I probably wouldn't have had another release.
But you get what I'm saying? It's like if this stuff isn't being balanced to keep in line with everything as it moves forward, then this stuff.
So I can't see any of this stuff becoming more overpowered with time. Like, if anything, it will become weaker. Generally, is how things work. So
maybe,
assuming none of this absolutely ruins the game, upon release, with a bit of faith in the rules writers there, then it's actually probably fine. Although there will always be combinations which people find out at some point.
I think my issue lies more with the fact with how they've gone about this, rather than not wanting people to use their legacy models. I don't really care about that. It's more just, I think this whole way that it's been done is just a bit shit.
I don't think the whole release of this edition's been particularly ideal.
I don't know why this has happened, so it is a bit of a shame.
From what I've kind of heard, because of where Middle-earth's part of the specialist games team, they have a certain amount of slots that they have to share with the other, Old World and Blood Bowl and stuff like that. Yeah. And I think because Old World's been quite a success, it's been getting all the release slots.
Which is fine. I don't know why we had to have 3 different publications on release. Why couldn't we have just had the army books? As we had, as I said,
it's probably the lawyers, because there's probably
it might not
with War of the Rohirrim and the new films coming out. There's probably a renegotiation of the rights to do with all of that stuff.
Yeah,
it's
so
why
maybe
they
as part of that renegotiation, they had to split the sort of things that weren't in the films, maybe, but that wasn't part of the thing previously. So that
it has been.
Yeah, I wonder
why. I mean, it's changed slightly, but it's like the Hobbit stuff had to be separate from the Lord of the Rings stuff, and they had their own separate.
Yeah, fine.
like,
But there were
because
still
of-
things that weren't in the films that were in those armor. In the armies of the Lord of the Rings, it had, Durin and things like that. It had stuff that wasn't in the films, in the books.
Yeah,
So,
but then the Tolkien estates also changed owner as well. So it's
yeah.
So that's probably the main actually thing is the Tolkien
might be. Yeah.
the rights aren't
just-
the rights aren't in the Tolkien estate. I can't remember exactly. Anyway,
Yeah.
I
Obviously,
imagine
we
it's
don't
all
know,
for
but
legal
it's-
stuff. Removing some of the models is also probably to do with production issues, like and
Yeah, maybe.
storage and all of that stuff.
The situation we're in isn't great. I just think the fact that you can't go to an army list and look at what's in it, you have to go to 20 different places and then write it all down. Right now, I know I'm going to get. You have to use something like Tabletop Admiral to be able to actually logically look at an army list. Just anyway.
Which, I mean, it's annoying, but we're also at the best place in time probably for that to happen. Because
Sure,
we do
which is
have
great.
like phones and stuff. Like if this had happened, let's just say 10 years
Yeah,
ago,
fine.
before like ebooks were like a thing.
But it's
it'd
like,
probably been a lot
Games
worse.
Workshop sort of
It-
hates historically, like, third party sort of things. Having worked at Games Workshop, that is something that is, I know firsthand, but, and now we're sort of pushed to using third party things. So, I don't know.
But impractical, but I'm still happy they're here is basically my summary.
I am as well. So, but yeah, let us know what you think about the legacy debate in the comments down below. So, with that out of the way, I guess let's start talking about some profiles, Ali. So we are going to start at the top of the evil document here, where we have some of the named wraiths. Where do you want to begin?
I mean, we can just sort of overall all the name wraiths have gone up by 10 points. So there's that. They're obviously affected by the general magic changes.
Yes.
But
One thing I noticed, it seems that each wraith has had like one new spell. Yeah.
So quite
Kamal's
like Kamal's got what was it? Enchanted
Wrath.
Blades. Is it Blade Wrath or Enchanted Blades?
Blade Wrath. Yeah. The Tainted's got Wither, I think.
Yeah. Dwimmerlake
Dwimmerlake's
has...
Curse.
Yeah.
The Dark Marshal has Aura of Command, I think.
Which is actually really good for evil armies.
Yeah.
To be fair.
For evil.
Because you basically... Aura of Command is still auto pass courage, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm not being...
I think, or is it Fearful?
No,
I don't think so,
Fearful is the opposite. Pretty sure it's all auto pass courage.
I think it is. Yeah.
Someone can correct me in the comments.
Then you have the Shadow Lord with Hog of Disarray, the Undying with Foil Magic, the Betrayer with Panic Steed on a 5-up though. So, and then the Knight of Umbar has Enchanted Blades, I believe.
No, that's not Enchanted. Other than that, they're all more or less exactly the same. I haven't
they
seen
can't
any.
take Fell Beasts now though.
Yeah,
so
but they
they're
never
all
had a
on
model
horse.
of them specifically on Fell Beast.
But they could. You could take the Shadow Lord or come all on Fell Beast, and now you cannot.
They just have to
MSBG's
use
dead.
them as an unknown one. But yeah, I think the main standout here is still the Shadow Lord because he still is your anti-shooting model.
Yes,
And in a meta where
he's
we've
the
got
same.
a lot of good shooting armies, that is in effective shooting armies.
Yeah.
He'll
You're not
still
taking him
be-
on horse anymore,
Yeah.
I don't think. You're not taking him for 150 points. That's not far off how much it was for him on a Fell Beast.
No. But yeah, I mean, you don't need him on a horse, really.
No, it's
They're
fine.
still
Yeah.
good. The
still
casting
good.
values generally are still quite good.
I
We
think
won't
the
go
same,
through every single one.
They all have like the same Might, Will, and Fate as well. I checked that.
Yeah.
Is all the same.
And
yeah.
obviously you've got heroic channeling. And most of them will be... I think all of them can go in Legions of Mordor or Army of the Great Eye.
Yes. And
And then the
Betrayer.
ones that you think can go in other ones can
Can
go in
still.
those other ones.
Yes.
Basically.
Kamal is in the Easterlings list, obviously with Amda,
Yeah.
which is... There's been some discussion on that. That's going to be probably like a pretty good list. So having Kamal added in there. Hero Valor is interesting, but I think Kamal isn't looking too... Sort of... He's still fight 5. Like, he's not looking that good. So...
One thing to note, just because I know some people missed it when I was talking, is if you're wondering what hero ranking they are, it says at the bottom of their profile where the army list is, and it will say if they're a hero of valor or stuff.
Yes,
just because I know people are missing that.
Yeah, although in some of them it doesn't actually say, like the Spider Queen is only included in a list in these documents, so it says it in the actual army list at the end rather than in the profile. So yeah.
Cool. But yeah, that's pretty much the Ringwraiths. They're still probably fairly good, and you'll see them. They're not going to. They're 10 points more expensive.
There was one thing: the Dwemer Lakes rule has changed. It's not insanely long-winded now.
What? But that was the whole shtick about the Dwemer Lakes.
Yeah, I know. But it's not that now. It's now if you're within 6 inches and you declare a heroic action, the enemy has to take a intelligence test, and if it's failed, the heroics cancelled and they lose the point of might. So an intelligence test, I'm like, isn't that even, I don't know, that seems worse than it was before anyway.
Depends on who you're playing, I guess.
Sure, but if you're like, you can have some...
The Dwemer Lake wasn't great before because of, like, I don't, to be fair, I don't think it makes too much difference.
Yeah, I just think there's some matchups where it's probably like never going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's kind of his whole thing, so... But, it's changed.
But at least it's easy to understand now.
So that's it for the Wraiths. I don't think there's much else with these.
No.
I think that's about it. Okay.
Then we're onto the Orc named captains we got. So like Gorgoroth and Zagdush. So they are exactly the same, but they have had a heroic stat change. So they're along with the trend of most heroes losing their 3rd might, but gaining some other points. So Gorgoroth is 2 might, 2 will, 2 fate. He's also dominant too. But combining that with his come here maggot special where he gets to grab an orc and pull him in front of him, and they take the wound instead, means he's going to be really, really hard to kill because he's now got the extra fate point as well.
Extra fate. But like, so he was 3-1-1. Zagdush was 3-1-1, but now Gorgoroth's 2-2-2, and Zagdush is 2-1-1. So he just lost the might. So we're going to see that all throughout this episode. Lots of 3 might heroes are now down to 2. So I guess it puts more like an emphasis on those heroes that do have 3 might. Like it's a lot more valuable rather than like a 60-point orc captain having 3.
It's definitely a thing of if you're feeling bad about your hero going down to 2 might, it's happened to everyone, so it's actually not as bad as you think it is. When you look at this. But Gorgoroth being 5/5 with strikes pretty handy, although I think he's still fairly expensive at 85 points.
85 for a 2-attack hero.
It's a shame him being captain of the Morannon, he doesn't get the Morannon special that he gets +1 fight value versus men. Because that would have been quite interesting.
That would be nice in Easterlings.
But apparently he's not a real Morannon, even though he's the
still
captain
2 attacks
of them.
anyway. I don't know. Anyway, Zagdush's rules stayed the same. He's still a 5/4 striker.
3 attacks.
He's exactly the same, really, other than that.
But they're back. They're nice models, so that's nice.
Yeah. The Blackguard stuff, Ali. Why even bother rewriting rules for this edition for these models if they're just going to keep them exactly the same? No one used these before. No one's going to use them now. They've got worse.
Have they got worse?
This Captain of the Blackguard is just more points for the same profile.
Yeah, but
no one used it before.
But you could argue that...
I know that everything's gone up in points, but like it is objectively worse than it was last edition.
But he is natural D7. And he gets the +1 for courage when he's with it.
It's the same profile. Nothing has changed in the profile apart from...
No, but I think it's because of the changes in general to the game, staying the same, it's more valuable. And like you may want him over like your Morannon Orc captain because
70 points.
Your natural 5/5, remember as well.
Yeah.
And hard to kill. So like, and he gets your heroic.
That's now worse. He was natural 5/5 last edition, and now is natural 5/5 worse than it was because more things have moved up.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't it still better than a Morannon Orc captain?
Sure,
if that makes sense. And like, these D7 and strength, like. I mean, the same strength 5, higher courage and intelligence base as well. Than
just bringing these back and keeping them the same. No one's that's some wasted GW
I think you're being harsh on
the
Blackguard captain there. You probably won't see him that much, but I think
you're never going to see one. Have you ever seen one? I've seen them once. I think Tim used them at a tournament like 5 years ago, and that was
having him be able to get +4 courage, so effectively like 2+ courage when a Ringwraith is on the board, is really good.
I'll pay 70 points for that, Captain. It's just not that good.
Yeah, but if you're paying 60 points for a normal captain, like.
Yeah, but would you though? Like in Army of the Great Eye, where there's a million things, you're going to choose this guy.
You're making me more and more tempted just to run this list, just to like prove
that
a
is
point.
Totally the kind of thing you would love doing. To be fair, do it, Ali. Do you own any of this stuff? No.
I don't actually have Blackguard stuff.
There you go. There we go. So nothing else has changed. None of the drummer, the Blackguard Barad, none of them have changed.
Yeah,
everything's the same.
One thing I would say, I'm interested to see how Strength 5, like how valuable is this edition? Because it's kind of like
with more D5.
There is a lot of D5 stuff, so you may be winning quite a bit on 4s, but and also, one thing I will say in the Blackguard and General Mordor or Uruk-hai favour is if you are taking the Ringwraith, whichever one it is that's got of command, you're not losing out on the courage stuff like you used to. Because you don't get Fury and because you do have like the drummer and stuff like that, there may be an easier way to get them into lists without sacrificing other stuff.
12 points for your Blackguard Barad. Yeah, okay, I'll believe it when I see it.
But, next up, more models I do own and have used. Morgul Stalkers. They are the same. But interestingly, they can go in the minus Morgul list, but they won't get the hitting courage. But they're pretty solid still. Stalk Unseen, 2 attack, strength 4, fight 3. They are 10 points, but they're the same.
Nothing's changed. Yeah. Kardush, the Firecaller, he is mostly exactly the same.
Yeah.
I think Flame, but something's gone up in casting value, I think, maybe 1. Or were they both 3 ups?
No, I think they were both 3+.
They were both 3 ups, so, So I think everything's the same. He was 131. I think he's like 5 points more now, but obviously that's very common.
And again, he can go Minas Morgul. So Minas Morgul is getting some extra models and heroes, which I think will actually help put that list from where it's kind of like borderline good to possibly actually good.
Well, they've also had added in Orc Trackers as well, which we come on to next, which are now 6 points instead of 5. Ashley Walgo was very upset at this change.
Hey, they get Mountain Dweller though.
Sheesh, is that that's the
no, they're now the points they probably should have always been, basically. They're 6 points, 4+ your value. They're still good, but you're having to pay, I don't know, let's say 10 points
the
more.
Orc track attacks, eh? It's crazy. So they're in Minas Morgul, Cirith Ungol, Army of Khandoom. There's a little bit of a rogue one there at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
But they're still good, but probably appropriately pointed now.
Right, well, let's move on to something that has been a hot topic of discussion, the great beast of Gorgobeast. These things are looking pretty spicy in the new edition. So they were 150 points. They are now 175 points. They have 3 Strength 6 impact hits now instead of 2, which is obviously far more reliable. They're Dominant 6, which is obviously super, super good. And how like the Howder and things has like changed. So now the Orc Commander can't be killed. Am I reading that right? Or not as easily?
So from what I understood is the Howder, so you're not models in the Howder really anymore. You're just... The Howder just has its profile, basically.
It's the palanquin. It's equal to the number of wounds. Like the amount of models in it is equal to the amount of wounds remaining, which represent the orcs. Like the black dragons are carrying the palanquin.
That's In
and
terms of... I'll let you go first. I'd say in terms of shooting, they've made it simpler that you just measure from the Orc Commander. So like, you're not measuring from each one down the side and then trying to So they've simplified that. Basically, they've simplified it all and given it slight buff in terms of quite a big buff actually in the 3rd Strength 6 impact hit.
Yeah, that's crazy. So it's gone up 25 points, but lots of things have gone up, so that's not anywhere. And it's also got 6 wounds now as well. It had 5 wounds before. Nice. It's gone up slightly. And then also as well, so the rule about the commander, so you can still try to kill the commander, but then if it would lose its last wound, you then replace it with one of the orcs that's essentially in the howdah, so the howdah takes the wound instead. So you essentially can't kill the commander until you've killed the howdah.
Yeah.
So you could do that before.
It's quite a bit more simplified. I can't,
Yeah.
and actually, to be fair, I don't see any obvious rules interactions which is posing a question like we would have done in the past. So
yeah.
But no, I
Yeah,
think they're
so
pretty good. If you want to take a
pretty
mimic in your army but can't afford a mimic, the Great Beast is a pretty good
Take a
substitute.
mini Great Beast, and you can take it in the Legions of Mordor or the Army of the Great Eye.
Yeah. Which you'll notice a lot of those evil Mordor pieces can be,
Yes.
and those lists are becoming
I just
one of the
love
mega
these-
lists.
I don't understand. Like they've just gone right. Let's just lob it all into fucking Mordor. Yeah, it's almost like we had a big. It's almost like we had a big Mordor faction last edition, didn't we? Yeah, a big section in the book.
I think you'll find that that's why they sometimes often have underwhelming army specials, is because they've taken this into account.
Of course. But then that seems like an almost like a worse thing. Like because it's got it's got nothing special about it. Well, its special thing is that it has loads of profiles. It's like okay,
yeah, and those profiles have special.
But it feels a little bit less like underwhelming compared to lists that have all these different like special abilities. Anyway,
Cool.
Anything else on the Great Beast? No, I think that's it.
No,
Yeah,
so-
on some Moria stuff.
So Mr. Big Hat himself, Groblog, has he got down points? It's only
I
55
think
now.
Maybe he's gone up 5. Was he 50 before?
I thought he was
Or
like
the same?
more than that. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, 55 points. He gets dominant. I'll say him and goblins within 3 inches of him get dominant 2 rather than the +1 fight value now.
He was 50 before Ali King.
There you go. Interestingly, he's got 3 fate now. So he's actually quite a good
right?
leader to survive,
Yeah.
but he is only a
But
hero
like
of
the
fortune.
+1, yeah, but the +1 fight was actually like pretty nice.
Yeah.
And-
To be fair, I think in this new edition, I would take the dominant 2.
maybe.
Because especially if you think so many more things have gone up to like higher fight values, you kind of may as well just take the hit and go, cool, I'm going to assume I'm going to lose all these fights anyway.
Yeah, you're going all in on being just a horde of shit goblins.
But he's got defense, he's got strike. Strike's probably not that useful on him, but defense for
And
3
he's-
fate and D6
he's
is pretty survivable.
He's natural fight 4 now as well because he wouldn't get the +1 from the crown. So and like the crown as well, like something where you'd have to roll for. You could have like the 4 main turns in the game where it doesn't even go off, and then it's like, oh, but at least this is something that is going to happen all the time. So
I think he's changed, but he's probably just as valuable.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, nice.
Then Ashrak.
Mm-hmm.
Has Ashrak changed at all? I don't think so.
He doesn't have Shroud of Shadows anymore. He now has Compel, obviously. He can still take the Venomback Spiders. His whole thing with the Paralyze is the same. I think he's gone up in points slightly. His heroic stats were the same. He had Fury Spider before.
Yeah, was it Fury
He didn't
Beast?
have was it Fury Beast? No, he didn't have Enraged Beast. Yeah, it might have been Fury Beast. I don't know. But I think other than that, he's the same. He could be taken in Moria.
He may have gone up by a will point.
I think he was 4.
Was it 4? I don't know.
I did a
This
deep
is
dive
where
yesterday.
me not using these armies comes to the 4, because I'm just like, I don't know what they were.
And he did have Fury Spider before, so no Shroud of Shadows now, though, because that is not in the game anymore. So, Ashrak, sort of the same. Nice. More Black Shield stuff.
The Return of the Black Shields.
Yeah. Or not.
So, the Black Shield Shaman still has Collapse Rocks and Tremor.
He didn't have... I think he had Shatter and Tremor previously.
Oh, yeah. When I said still, I mean still from when I read this yesterday.
Oh, okay.
The Black Shield drum now counts as an actual drum as well for victory points.
Yes, I was also talking about that. Yeah.
That's handy. The Black Shield Warriors are still a lot of points, but them being D6 this edition, actually, you may see them introduced just for some resilience in those Moria lists that we've seen.
8 points.
Yeah, I'm not saying it definitely is, but there is an argument for them now. Equally, their +1 courage and also the Black Shield Captain. I actually think I would take Black Shield Captains over normal captains.
That's a hot take. 45 points.
because one, they have a two-handed weapon, which that's strength 4, which gives you something that can actually kill.
Oh, baby.
But also they're courage 4 or 6 plus. Sorry, I'm still not used to this new courage terminology thing.
No.
Which once you combine it with a drum or the army bonus in the goblin list, they're actually a really solid courage, which means if you're broken, you won't be running away. So I think there's you can take the hit of like 2 goblins or whatever it would end up being to take a Black Shield captain, and you get more value out of basically your captains are just there as a might and courage sort of bubble.
There's a Black Shield. There's a Black Shield goblin meta coming, is there, Ali? I'm not sure I see it.
Captains, yeah.
Okay. Sure. Warg Marauders. How have these changed? Have these changed? I'm not sure they have much.
Have they lost terror?
No. It says it in like one of the special rules.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I think they're more or less the same. So they're still.
Oh, well, have they lost terror? I thought I read that last night.
They've also gone
think
down
they
by
used
1
to.
fight value, I think, because they used to be fight 3.
The goblins are fight 3. Oh, the Warg is still fight 3 though. Yeah, because it says that it uses.
Oh yeah, because you still
mount.
it's because of the way that they've written the profile.
Yeah, the profile.
I
it's
think they're
mostly
still the same.
Yeah.
Nothing dramatic anyway. So if you took them before, they're probably still as what you remember.
Decent. Dweller in the Dark. This thing has not changed really, I don't think. It has Dominant 3 though.
Yeah, it's also
points.
arguably the stupidest model in the game because it's got an 8 plus intelligence, but it's also one of the bravest models in the game because it's got a 3 plus courage. I'm not saying these are going to be amazing, but the changes to Heroic Strike and then being base fight 7 may make these guys more viable than they were.
They should have
before.
added these into the dragons list or something. I know they're not technically dragons, would anyone have cared? No. They're an evil.
You just want
dragon.
more stuff in that dragon.
They're a
list to make it
dragon,
more viable.
a cheaper option. They're dragon-looking fucks. I don't know. Put them in there. Would anyone have cared?
Yeah.
No.
But Moria have got some more options now in terms of the pure Moria list. So
Indeed. Okay, we'll leave the depths there, and we shall move on to Isengard. Oh, it's Vrasku in Army of the White Hand. Kill me now. Oh no.
So Vrasku is gone up by 5 points, but then gotten Sharpshooter. Otherwise, and he's also lost a might point and gotten a will, as we've mentioned before.
Losing a might point for a will. They've just gone, let's move that point over there.
But otherwise, he's still kind of what he was before. And he can go in Muster of Isengard or Army of the White Hand, which I don't actually think this is okay. Like, it's not terrible in terms of because he's not giving you the extra might and he is more expensive than Captain. It's only if you really want to double down on having like some shooting in your list.
Sharpshooter. It's pretty nice.
So I don't think he's actually going to be the model which improves either of those lists. But we may come to those
Maybe
later.
there's another model coming up that will. Okay, it's Vrasku. Malher. It's an interesting one, as I have been furiously painting my Ugluk Scouts lately. It's all completely finished. Our Instagram followers have been seeing my progress. Make sure to go follow us on Instagram. Malher, 65 points. He's still 5/5 with 3 attacks. But he has a new special rule. He's lost a point of might, or was he always 2? I think maybe
he was always 2.
Yeah, but he has a new special rule where when he charges, he can say that he's using this special rule. He's -1 to all his dual rolls, but he can then re-roll to wound if they win the fight. So if you're going all in on a target or something, you can have his dice be -1, and then you get to re-roll. But then you compare that, obviously, with Ugluk Scouts. You can get like +2 to wound with Ugluk and the army bonus as well. So I don't know if that's good. I guess it's good.
I can see some combos with this. So
yeah, I just don't
you
think
can
you're going
use
to pull it
that.
out all
He's
the time.
also got heroic strength.
Yeah.
So say you need, so he can go up to strength 10 now in the new edition. So say you need someone to take down, I don't know, a D8, a D9, or even a D10 model. There is
correct strength +2, and if they're trapped, your 6 attacks re-rolling.
To win.
But like compared to a Uruk-hai Scout Captain, he has 10 points more. So at like,
but he does get
points,
+1 attack. So I think you're still taking over a Scout Captain.
Do you think all the time? I wonder if at low points you do. because like a 550 you get 42 models with a drum. Like it's all quite nice, neat, and shut. And
yeah,
then,
I still think you do just for an extra attack. Like unless if
it's
you're
like
really
10 points
like
for an extra attack.
scrimping.
It's like so this raw site, it might not come up that often, and then you're essentially paying 10 points for an extra attack, and like I don't know.
But yeah, he is natural move 8 as well. Although I think you get the 8-inch move in both those lists anyway.
Yeah. So,
but no,
anyway,
he's the same as he was with an extra special rule. But it's because of where his marauders aren't tied to him anymore. That he's not essential.
Yeah. Feral Urukai, the return.
They get Hatred Man, which is kind of interesting. Considering men are still probably going to be the most common army list there. Doesn't make a difference because they can go in muster or Army of the White Hand. Doesn't make a difference in muster. There's an argument to have them in Army of the White Hand because they're higher courage and stuff. I don't think you'll see them en masse, but they're
13 points is pretty crazy.
They're okay. You can afford the extra points in Army of the White Hands depending how you build it to get a few of these guys, but I don't. They're not berserkers basically. No. And they're not that much cheaper than a berserker.
No.
So they're probably not amazing.
Move on.
I wouldn't quite say garbage. They're mid.
They're mid. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Dunland, the return. Thryden, exactly the same, I believe.
Yeah.
His horse is more expensive, but I think exactly the same. Two-handed weapon. He gained the leader, Dunlanding Huskarls. Special rules, so you can take those. Not that they're any good anyway; they never were.
Now they can only be led by him, or a couple of other heroes. But
yes, but he is added into Army of the White Hand as well. Not sure how much you'd see him.
So I think Army of the White Hand lacks hard, heavy hitters, and him and Gorgoroth, who we're about to come to as well, both are fight 5 and have heroic strike, which you combine with Saruman and Grimmer. And he can take, because he can take a horse, even though it's expensive. Legitimately, you can then do the transfix on a enemy hero. Thryden charges in, knocks him down, strike, kill, boom, dead hero with his mighty blow and +1 to wound and stuff like that. So he's a little pricey, so it may be hard to fit him in, but he does add something to that list. And
you could build it in maybe different ways now, but it could be the way that it's currently being built is just what's best anyway. So
although I would argue what would be best is now you include Gorgoroth Iron Skin in your Army of the White Hand
instead. So is he the same points? I think
he's exactly the same points and stats. Other than he's lost a might and gained a fate.
2-1-2.
So so he's still got her free heroic defense if he's engaged with an enemy hero, which is arguably better this edition. And because he's got the extra fate, he's actually even harder to take down. So, but he was great last edition. He'll be great this edition, and
in one of the best lists in the game at the moment.
Yeah.
So, okay,
cool.
Frida is mostly the same. Still 5/5. Was 3/1/1, now 2/2/2. Also in Army of the White Hand. Still has the bonus for Cav losing their knockdown when she's supporting or in combat with her. Re-rolling. On enemy mounts within 3, I think it's all the same.
Yeah, I don't think she's as good this edition purely because not everyone's having a horse, like as much.
Sure, fine. And she was not exactly like an auto take anyway. So
no, I mean she'll still be solid in like a list, but I don't think it's changing anything. You can only take her in Army of the White
Hand, and then are you taking her over other things? Probably.
Yeah. You'll be able to take her in Dunland though, which we'll get to later.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh yes, yeah. The Dunland Chief is exactly the same, although. He was one of the few captains that had an extra heroic stat, and he lost it.
Yeah.
Justice for the Dunlanding Chief to regain his second point of will. Although that's not going to happen. So.
I mean, they hit kind of hard, I guess, at strength 5 with a 2-hand weapon, but I don't see them being used much.
No. Dunlanding Warrior, same as before. I think exactly the same.
Yeah, and exactly as they were before.
Yeah, the Dunlanding Horsemen, I believe, exactly the same as well.
Yeah, they're still fairly solid. So I'd be tempted to
12 points.
A couple of them instead of maybe Wild Riders if you want the courage bonus.
Sure.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Huskars,
Huskars are the same and
Same.
suck equally as much.
they are. Yeah, no change.
But yeah,
That's a shame.
so I was hoping they would go down a point or something, but nope.
Yeah, but nope. Castellans have changed slightly. They've lost 2 points of will, so they're only 10 now instead of 12.
Have they gone down by 5 points on my edition? But
They've gone. So they were 40 points. Then you had to spend 5 points for a Morgul Blade, but they now come with the Morgul Blade, and they're 50 points. So they've essentially gone up by 5 points if you paid for the Morgul Blade.
Yeah.
So.
They do get auto pass courage tests if they're within a Ringwraith 6 inches as well now.
Yeah, they gained that. But
they go,
I think
they go Mides and Necromancer, so you have a bit more flexibility in that list.
But they have sort of got, they've lost 2 points of will for nothing. I don't know.
I don't think they've been affected too much, although the bigger downside for them is probably they've stayed at 5/5. While other people have.
Oh, if they went up to 5/6, that would have been lemon. That would have been pretty cool.
Got points, but yeah,
that would have been cool. Okay. Anyway, the Haradrim King. We come on to all this sort of Eastern stuff. Harad Kings look pretty good. They have Bane of Kings now. They lost a point of might. No, they gained a point of fate.
Yeah, they gained a point of fate.
I think.
They're 2-2-1, but yeah,
they were 2-2-1. Yeah.
They don't have the Lance option anymore, but in exchange they've got Bane of Kings. And if they are your general, they get 3 attacks and the General Hunter special. So
so they're Haradrim Kings with Bane of Kings and they're a tribal king.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Shame General Hunter wasn't called King Hunter or something like that. But but yeah, no, so if you wanted to run a small like Harad army, actually, because they're Heroes of Valor, you can legitimately take them as your leader if you want, just to get the extra attack.
You could chuck them into Legions of Mordor as well, because believe it or not, they've been added into Legions of Mordor.
Yeah.
Would you believe it, folks?
But no, they're solid. I can see a place in them in the list. Like they can get you your march while being a bit better than a captain.
Yeah,
but
they're a bit better.
I think unless if you're taking them as your leader to get the 3 attacks, they're probably not quite worth it. But if you are doing them as the leader, they're probably fairly solid.
Yeah. The Golden King is something that people have been touching on. As he looks pretty good, but then like you look at the list, he's in Legions of Mordor, of course. You look at the list he could be included in, like maybe you wouldn't see him that much, but essentially the new thing he has now is that he has this special rule that says if he loses a duel roll, he can immediately spend a point of will to use a special rule. If he does, enemy models may not make strikes against the Golden King for the duration of the combat. So he has 6 will, so 6 times per game he can just go, you're not going to strike me, so he can just do that. 6 times.
And his will is then competing, so he's got the courage test thing. Most important thing actually that we probably missed is he's gone up to fight value 5, so he is beating troops and killing them now, which he wasn't. Which I think is the most important part, really. But
he's also on a 50 mil base now, as opposed to the mega cursed one.
I think he's a legit option. Not game breaking, but legitimate.
They waited until he was removed from the game, but not removed from the game to make him playable. Okay, fine.
I mean, 2 editions ago, he was really good. But he's probably a really good leader as well because of where you can just keep him behind line, and if you do get caught out, you go, nope, can't touch this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably a very solid leader for your list.
Yeah, cool. So lots of these. So the Merchant Guard, the Watchers of Karna haven't changed at all, I don't think.
Yeah. No,
literally not at all. I don't think any of the Mahud stuff is. I think there's like one special rule that's
the Mahud Kings lost the Lance Spear thing.
But he comes with the shield now.
Yeah, but I think losing the +1 to wound is quite a big hit for them.
Kings,
but weirdly, the Mahud King hasn't gained an extra point of fate when all the other King profiles have.
He's not 2/2/2. Yeah, fine.
Yeah, apparently the Mahud aren't very good at living.
Apparently not. I don't think. I thought there was maybe one special rule that changed for the Warriors or something.
They used to have Warrior Pride, but I think that may be in their actual list now.
Okay, fine. But yeah, I don't think it's really.
Half Trolls have gone up in a point, but got a dominant 2. 2 points for dominant 2.
Yeah, so but they were already expensive anyway, so
I think
they're
that's
still expensive.
I like them still. Almost, I don't mind them being 25 points because it makes it easier maths wise. But if you want a really heavy hitting thing, you could also give them like the two-handed weapon.
Yeah, which I don't think they had an option for that before.
No, they always have
Looking
done.
at it? Oh, they did. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, and they can only go in. The Mahud stuff can only go in Grand Army of the South as an additional list to the Mahud list, which we'll come to later.
Yes. Khand. We had a very happy Sam Grattan in the Gollum's Gamers chat we'll come on to the Khand list, but there has been a change that we have been hoping for many, many years, or Sam has been, which is now in the Khand list. But how have the actual profiles changed, though?
I don't think much. Khandish King again's only got one fate, so he hasn't got the extra fate.
Dominant 3?
Yeah, that's quite a big sort of change,
nice.
to be fair.
It was 2 strength 4 impact hits. I think that was the same.
That's the same.
Yeah. The Chieftains, I think they were fight 5. They're still 2-on-1.
Yeah, I think everything's the same now.
I think everything else is the same. The Warriors, the Horsemen, yeah.
Yep.
The normal Chariots are still dominant 3 as well.
Yeah.
Is there anything else to say there? Cool. Corsair Reavers, we will come back to the Khand list. They've changed the rule on how it works. I didn't read it too much.
It's an intelligence test now. If you pass, you're fine. If you fail, you must choose another friendly model within 1 inch. This model immediately suffers a strength 3 hit. And then you must charge an enemy model. Basically, they've removed the bit where
you charge your own guy.
Yeah. Instead, you just maybe punch like your friend in the face as you run past.
Yeah. So I guess is that worse because at least before you could have the dual roll and then maybe not end up killing your guy, where now he might just die to the strength 3 hit, but now you don't tie up one of your own models that you maybe wanted to go and do something else. So
I think arguably this is probably better. I think this is better.
Okay.
They're only 9 points as well for like a 2 attack model, which can get +1 to wound. So
yeah, Corsair Reavers, the only Corsair model in these legacy documents. But we shall move on to Razgush, who has had some changes, some welcome changes. He is now natural fight 6, which we love to see. He's still 3/3/1 as he was before. I think he's gone up 5 points. He's still 3 attacks, 3 wounds, D7. He still has the whole Elven Made roll-off thing, like you don't gain an Elven Made weapon, Elf Bane, Hatred Elf, that sort of thing. He did have something before where all of the orcs and things in his profile gained Elf Bane or Hatred Elf, one of the two, but they don't have that now. That was baked into his profile rather than the Legion, and he doesn't have that now. So he could be taken in Hell Beings that we'll come on to, but also Army of the Great Eye, so another Mordor list that he's being added into. He was 110 points before. He also has a 12-inch standfast now as well, which he didn't have before. So
yeah,
fight 6, 12-inch standfast, like it's nice.
It's really solid, as we mentioned before. Like he hasn't on paper gotten that much better. I mean, he's obviously gone up to fight 6, but he's now arguably the best sort of mid-points leader you can get in Mordor.
Yeah, and also now he doesn't, in Army of the Great Eye, he doesn't, so he still has the rule where he can include bat swarms, giant spiders and things in Army of the Great Eye, even though you can usually take those. But now he doesn't have to only have like orcs and things in his warband like he did before, which was a little bit awkward when you tried to have him in Mordor lists last edition. He can now lead Black Nuns, Moranas and things like that, so he's a lot more flexible.
And he really hates elves of Elfbane and Hatred Elf, so I'm on board with him. But Razgush is definitely one of the biggest winners we've had so far.
He's better. We'll come on to Musga, who has not had any changes at all, I don't think. I think Wither has gone up to or Drain Courage is now I think one of them went up in a casting.
I think they were 3+. I don't know. Either way, he's still solid.
He's the same. Nothing's changed. Golfimble, I know nothing about him from last edition.
Golfimble's the same. He's still the same.
Fine. Spider Queen?
It's got dominant 3, as you kind of expect, and kind of the same. Quite a high intelligence value from either monster this edition at intelligence 6+, and then still
Spelling
poops
things.
out broodlings.
Does.
But because the
Goodness.
broodlings are beasts in swarm, they're not quite as good at grabbing objects and stuff. They're still like
Big.
handy, but
They still run off the board in recon. But have they
yeah.
changed how that works with this rule or not? I didn't know if maybe they had.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at it, to be honest, in
That's fine.
depth.
Maybe they
I
have,
think it's
maybe
more or
they
less the
haven't.
same.
I think it looked the
Yeah.
same, but I wasn't
Yeah.
too sure if they did.
But the
Yeah,
only
so-
list broodlings can go into is, or Spider Queen can go into is Felbeans and Mirkwood.
that is incorrect. There
is
is
there another
the
one?
Spider Queen's Brood at the end.
Oh, I
Ali.
forgot that one, yeah.
Have you? Okay.
It's
which
because
is-
that one's useless, and I'll come on to why later.
I think it looked kind of cool, but we will come on to that.
Yeah.
So, Fell Beings, has anything really changed?
Um,
I don't think so.
do they always get
Razgoosh
+1
gets
fight value
+1.
versus Elf?
No, Razgoosh does. He did get that before, but now it's up to
yeah.
7 instead of
Yeah.
from 5 to 6. So that's
I don't think
nice.
it's changed that much, but I think it's actually gotten better overall.
Yeah, just with the changes to.
Because you don't have as many weird monster mash lists or just mash up lists and stuff like that. And Razgoosh has gotten better. I think this has probably gotten better.
They still get willing creature. Yeah, it's mostly the same. Assault on Lothlorien though has changed. It has lost the re-roll for the magic, which was really, really good. Like the fact that you could just 1 dice Enraged Beast with Jurzag, and just not worry. Oh, it's a 3-up. Okay, I've got a re-roll if I fluff it anyway. Where now, obviously, that's if it's an important thing, you might have to spend that 2 will. So I think to the magic, that is a fairly substantial sort of change, which is obviously something about the list that was really, really good.
Yeah, and obviously magic's taken a hit anyway.
Yeah,
but,
so like that is worse.
However, Ruthless Savagery has either been clarified or gotten better, or worse, depending how you read the rule last edition in that. If you outnumber an enemy model with orcs and goblins, all models striking that model get +1 to wound. So you wouldn't count the spearmen to see if you're outnumbering them, but they would benefit from the +1 to wound against them. So they are more killy than at least how Ice Age traditionally played previously, but the rule is more clear now, which is the main benefit. But Assault on Lothlorien is still going to be a very solid list.
Still going to be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Army of Dunland, has anything actually changed here with the rules? I don't think so. It still has the Warcry for +1, 12-inch for 1 turn, banners are 6 instead of 3, and Hatred Rohan.
One big important plus that they do have now, though, is because Wild Men of Dunland can take spears. So you're not relying on your Huskars anymore to give you a spear to point frontline. So Army of Dunland has actually gotten significantly better.
Wait, sorry, what can take spears now?
Wild Men of Dunland.
Oh, Wildman. Oh, right.
Of
course, because of the new models.
And they can get flaming brands and that. So I'm not saying it's the best list in the world, but they have become a lot better, and there's a legitimate sort of horde element.
Ali bought a whole Army of Dunland and he used it like once, so he's sort
of
searching. He's searching for a reason here, folks, to be excited about Dunland. So read into that what you will. Yeah, that's it for Dunland. We will come on to Khand.
Yep. Do you want to go lead for Khand?
Well, finally, the general counts as a banner for the purposes of VPs. So you are, the Khandish King has banners, physical banners on the back of his chariot, although he didn't count as a banner for VPs. He now does. A very welcome change for one Mr. Sam Grattan, indeed. And he also gets an extra might point, which is nice. And then he also have once per game sort of special rule, Khandish Fury, where friendly warrior models within 3 inches of a hero gain +1 to their fight value. So they go up to fight 5 once per game within 3 inches of hero. So that is actually super, super nice. Although the Khandish King, he's on foot in this list.
I think they may have slightly cocked up on the...
but this isn't going to be errated or... So rules as written...
I think this one's obvious enough, because I don't think you can take a Khandish chariot on its own, or even a chariot.
It's almost as if you just shouldn't be adding things into the game that are not in the game. Like,
I mean, the thing is...
This is just such a backwards
Like, even if this was
situation,
released
really.
as a normal thing, we probably wouldn't have got an FAQ for this for 6 months. So,
But it would
But yeah,
be FAQ though, where they've added things into the
a lot
game
of
that are not
art.
technically in the game. So
Yeah.
anyway,
So to anyone who's not being facetious, a Candice King can take a chariot for 35 points.
not
It's
in
just a
the army
formatting
list.
error.
Like, it's
But he just gets his chariot in bold, and that's the only difference. But yeah,
fine. Other than that, yeah, it's looking good.
yeah.
That was looking good. Sam's happy. Farharad
So they get the Warrior Pride in the Farhad special rules.
list.
So that's the auto pass courage if a hero is in combat, the warrior passes within 6 passes courage. If your general slays an enemy hero until the end of the friendly turn, Mohad warriors get +1 to their fight value, which situational but potentially handy. And also they all get basically a 6+ fate save, which isn't game breaking, but like, meh. I think Farhad are a bit at the moment. Like, if you like them, you like them, but I think you're gonna just probably take a lot of this stuff in one of the other like lists, to be honest.
Okay, Ravagers of the Shire.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at this one.
I haven't looked at this one. It had Golfing Ball. I was like, this is bad. It's got orcs and a hill troll. Fine.
So friendly orcs get +1 courage if Golfing Ball's alive, and then if you outnumber, +1 to wound in combat. So there may be a low points horde element to it, and also hill trolls go in the list. So it may be a small point bit of fun army. I don't think it's going to...
Boring. Move on. The Spider Queen's Brood. We have the Spider Queen leading giant spiders, hunting spiders, bat swarms, and fellwargs. And there's a couple cool rules here for the Spider Queen. So when the Spider Queen suffers a wound before fate rolls are made, she can roll a d6 on a 3+. A spider model within 1 inch can suffer the wound instead. So it's like a 3-up fury save at the expense of killing a spider. So obviously the spiders are expensive, but still. Pounce, when any spider warrior model charges, they gain knock to the ground as if they're cavalry. That's nice. And then the Queen's Cunning. If Spider Queen declares a heroic move in the same turn as an enemy hero and subsequently loses the roll-off, she may choose to cancel her heroic move and regain the might point spent to declare it. Obviously, for a list that can only have 3 might. That's pretty nice. Those are pretty nice rules, right? Those are good.
Yeah. Did you do the web thing as well?
Yes. Sorry. Yes. So you can deploy 4 25mm web markers. They can't be within 6 inches of a board edge and all that sort of thing. Within 3 inches of each marker is difficult terrain, and then also spider models don't need line of sight to charge a model that is within 3 inches of one of those web markers. So you can put 4 of them sort of wherever you want, essentially. So it's pretty nice.
Should I tell the thing that's like may have been missed in this list, and we'll let it down? Because they're all beasts, they can't like pick up objectives.
Yes. I saw that. Yeah.
So they may be at a somewhat disadvantage at a few scenarios.
Yes, indeed. But like, as far as cool special rules go, I think those are pretty nice and meaty. I think they're good for. Obviously, it's a very unique sort of list with only 1 hero, so it's probably not going to be that good. But okay, cool. So that is everything for the evil lists. We shall move on to the good lists. So we will kick things off with Bandabras Turk. What a riveting profile here, Ali. Do you want to discuss this man?
He's pretty much the same. He's still invented golf, and so he's on a natural 6. When he makes a wound, it will do 2 wounds rather than 1. But
Clean strike, baby.
50 points for a model on horse is actually quite good value these days.
These days, hey, it's a 30-point hobbit, which I guess is about right for a hero.
And he's fight value 4, and I mean he has heroic strike, which is good for a hobbit. But yeah, no, he's gone up slightly in points. I think only 5 or maybe 10. But yeah,
Bandabras Turk. Okay,
if you liked him before, you'll probably still like him. Knight One Tower, he got a bit of a glow up purely because he went up to fight 6. He's gone up by 10 points, 15 points.
15.
But yeah, he also gets to re-roll a dice when fighting a hero in combat.
So he gets a Lord of the West against heroes, which is nice.
I always quite rated Knights of the White Tower, and I think
did.
he'd be being a Fight 6 model now with Strike, he'll be quite a good addition to Minas Tirith for Top Walls and Defenders of Pelennor.
Another list with everything in the game, but yeah.
With Mighty Blow, he'll be quite a good little hero hunter.
75 points is a lot though, and there are lots of options, but Fight 6 is nice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. But equally, him still only being 2 might isn't as big a hit as it used to be because of where everyone's basically only 2 might. So
yeah, fair.
The Ranger heroes, so Angbon and Mablung, they've gone up in points, but pretty much exactly the same. There's still minor heroes in their lists. There you go, Sharpshooter. I mean,
Angbon does.
I don't see me taking them unless if I'm stretching the heroes in that list. But if you like them before, they haven't changed too much.
Yeah, that's it. Kyrian, though, has changed.
Yeah, up to Fight 5, which is good. He's still
10 points more.
He's still the boldest of bold. He has obviously lost a might point, but gained a will point. It's pretty solid. D6 is more valuable than it was last edition.
The courage rule's the same. But obviously he's 5/5 now, which is nice. He's had like the Baragond sort of. I guess they are now like so similar. Like they're 2 attacks, 5/5, 2 might, 65 points. Like very similar.
But yeah, Kyrian's a legitimate option as a captain in Minas Tirith, basically.
Men at Arms.
Men at Arms are Dolmoth. So they are the same, but they've gone up by 10 points, which even them going up by 10 points. Basically, for anyone who's complaining, they're going up by 10. Yeah, that'd be terrible.
They're
going up by
points.
A point to 10 points. But for anyone who was complaining about fiefdoms, just picture this now. You've got a pipe block with Imrahil and a captain on foot, and they both charge in, and then suddenly that whole pipe block is Fight 5 with +2 to wound. With a banner reroll, I think you'll do all right. So, fiefdoms.
Justice for fiefdoms.
You're actually okay when you think about it.
Justice.
Yeah. But no,
okay, fine.
They probably deserve to go off a point. Yeah. Grimbold, on the face of it, looks the same, although he's obviously benefited from 2-hand weapon being naturally a 6, stays a 6.
On the face of it, he looks the same, and that's because he is the same?
No, because only his warband now that can be upgraded to Helmingas. So the bit of a nerf there, which is sad for Force of Eisen players, because you can't just take everyone as Helmingas.
That sucks.
So yeah, but I mean, you can still work it around in the army list. So Force of Eisen being like essentially my old Theodred's Guard, you could probably still go. Theodred's Warband will be the Royal Guard, Grimvold will be like the Helmingas, and then like Elfhelm will be the Rohan Outriders, which
the Grimbold nerf was what we really needed from these legacy documents. That was something that we were needing.
And he's also obviously lost a might and gained a will, as everyone does these days.
Nice. Erkenbrand is mostly unchanged, although he now has the Horn of the Hammerhand is now a once per game you blow it and it's -1 courage within 24 inches.
It's the same as actual Helm Hammerhand's horn.
Yes, his horn. Yeah.
And he's 2/2/2 in terms of might, will, and fate. But
the Westfold Red Shields is the same.
Still rubbish. So indeed. I don't think he'll be that.
It's a little bit misleading though, is that he has 90 points here and it looks like he's on foot, but he does have a horse in his war gear. Why didn't they just put a picture of the horse model? I don't know.
Yeah, to be fair, I completely missed that.
There you go. See? Yeah, he's on horse, but it's just like there in his war gear because it's not an option. So you can't take him on foot. So so why have you can't take him on foot, but yet they've put the picture of the on-foot model?
Well, because you have to have the foot model as well.
You do, but he doesn't come on foot. Anyway, Erkenbrand is the same.
King's Huntsman gets Sharpshooter, which is kind of nice for him, and has a long bow, but otherwise the same. But so,
you could take him in an army of Edoras. I didn't see that old minor hero though. If they were heroes of fortitude, that'd be cracked.
Yeah. Although having heroic accuracy in your army may be handy depending how you build it.
Maybe
but generally it's still a bit mid.
Yeah.
Now we come on to the real.
Here we go,
taste.
folks. We've left it till the real viewers are here an hour into the pod. Now we get
one
to
of my
good stuff.
favourite models and heroes in the game since it came out, Eorl the Young. So he's gone up by 5 points. However, he's gone up to fight 6.
Sheesh.
And then he stayed the same pretty much, which is pretty good. So he's still D7, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, might 3, will 2, fate 2, and he's got really nice. He's always been 3/2/2.
Spear. I think he had that spear mastery roll. Yeah.
No, he can use his throwing spear as a spear in combat. To support, which sure. But yeah, he's still got defense and strike. Strength and resolve are also better. He's got expert rider, horse lord, and leader, son of Eorl. And then his legendary hero special rule is the same, so he gets to 3 might pilot on a 4+. And Firolaf is a 12-inch moving horse. This time in the picture, they have presented you with the mounted and the foot one.
There we go. Why didn't Urkebrand get that treatment? We shall tease you though for the rules for the list. We shall come on to that later.
Yeah. Well, we're about to go on to Sons of Eorl anyway.
On to the Sons of Eorl, yes.
Who they are the same points. However, they now have natural 2 attacks, so they don't need to be within 6 of Eorl anymore. However, if they are within 6 of Eorl, they get +1 fight value. So suddenly you've got fight value 5, strength 4 cavalry with 3 attacks on the charge. So they're back in the place where they used to be in terms of really good. Obviously, these guys can only be taken with Eorl, but
so they haven't gone up in points. Last edition, they got the +1 attack within 6 inches. Now they've just baked that into their profile, but they've swapped it for a rule where they could go up to 5/5 now within 6 instead.
Yeah, see, as I said, as someone who used Sons and Eorl last edition a few times, if you just stand still long enough, the meta comes back to you.
See, and like Khazad-dûm, he's just stuck with his things, and now they're all getting, glowed up. So,
but yeah, Sons are looking tasty. Rohan Outriders exactly the same. They can go in Fords of Isen and Kingdom of Rohan on foot, and then they can also go Road to Helm's Deep and Path of Down on a horse with their unlimited range stand fast and a 3+ shoot value bow. That's pretty handy. Although you do have to take into account bow limits with these guys. Unlike Rise of Rohan in some of those lists.
Yes.
But they're still pretty good.
Yeah. Yep. Gildor.
It's still the same stats wise. Still has all of the heroic actions, it feels like, but only one might use them. So channeling, defense, march, and resolve.
Choice.
Can still bring a warband of the Lothlorien Exiles, but it's only in the Road to Rivendell list.
That's sad.
But they do get the Rivendell keyword, which I don't know whether that actually is relevant in the Road to Rivendell list.
Why don't you just put him into Rivendell?
Yeah. Does gain Writhing Vines, which is kind of cool. Got 4 will.
But it's only in the Road to Rivendell that you're not going to be using it in anyway. He literally has the Rivendell faction keyword. Why is he not in Rivendell? Was he going to break Rivendell? I don't think so.
No.
Why not just put him in there?
Yeah. Then Eristor next up.
Yes.
Exactly the same. Eristor, I think there's 2 camps of him. There's some people who love him. So I know Luke Hilder uses Eristor a lot and really likes him.
Here we go.
I know Dave Farmer doesn't really rate him very much. I think he's pretty solid. He's another hero of fortitude who's under 100 points you can put into the Rivendell army list. So
not only the Rivendell army list, but the Last Alliance army list.
And Linden as well.
And Linden, but no one talks about that. The Last Alliance list he can now be added into. Very lemon indeed. Although he has got slightly worse because now he only rerolls 1s when rolling to wound or with his throwing daggers, where before you could reroll everything, which was super, super nice. The amount of times you need to try and kill something with a throwing weapon to open up a gap, and then you get the reroll and you get it. Things like that were super good. And obviously rerolling in combat as well with 2 attacks was actually pretty reliable to kind of kill stuff. So losing that,
I think
I don't like that
not killed him, but as in it's definitely
it is bad, and I don't like that the reason that they've taken that away, I think, is because they have taken away the ability to feint in the game, so they have to bake it into different places. So because they took away special strikes, he now loses his cool special rule. I don't like that. Special strikes should have remained in the game. 100%.
Oh, you're grumpy today, aren't you?
They've taken away Eorl's rule. Why?
Yeah. To be fair though,
Because
being fight
painting
6 with elven weapons and heroic strike for an
He
85
hasn't gone
point
up in
hero is
points,
quite useful.
so
Yeah.
I am. If you went up in points and lost the rule, I would feel even more frustrated. But he's in Lothlorien, which is super nice as a hero force dude.
So my cat almost fell off the top of my
Jesus Christ! Oh my God! I thought you were trying to swat a fly. Oh Jesus Christ! Right.
To people just listening, that's going to be so confusing.
Yeah. Yeah. Fine. Go watch the YouTube, folks. Yeah, he's fine. He's in Lothlorien. You can now get like 40 models with Elendil and a captain and Eorl at 750, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
I was list writing already. So, yeah, we have the Stormcallers next, Rivendell and Lothlorien.
I love how they got 2 pictures with slightly different paint jobs. Just to...
Yes. Yes, just to differentiate. Yeah.
So one has foil blades and
Foil blades.
Foil blades, because I was reading to it. So foil magic and strength and will, and then the other one has enchanted blades and writhing bone.
Foil blades in.
I don't think you're going to see them, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I think you got better options on both lists, and there's still 65 points, so probably too many.
Give him an extra point of will at least.
Yeah, that's
give
what
him
I was thinking.
something. But nothing. Okay, fine. We come on to Khazad-dûm. Balin.
Balin is exactly the same, so he's still slightly overpointed and slightly disappointing.
He still has a long beard.
Yeah, but he does have defense, march, resolve, and strike, and he is leader Khazad-dûm.
Maybe he might have lost the point of might, but I'm glad he didn't.
No, I don't think he could lose a point of might. I was kind of hoping he would actually go down in points, but sad time.
Yes, Floy though has changed.
Floy, so they've got rid of his really confusing special rule.
Yes, no more BS.
And instead now, essentially, you can pick an enemy model, and all models get +1 to wound when making strikes or shooting attacks against that model, which can combine with Dwarf Rangers to absolutely pepper someone to death. So at 75 points, I don't know whether he's too expensive for that, but there is a use to him. But otherwise his stats are the same, and he still regens will in the same way.
No more bullshit Floyd stuff now, though, which I think is probably a positive.
No, that's a buffer's job these days.
Yes. So King's Champion is the same?
Yep, exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
You're still probably going to take him in Kingdom of Khazad-dûm for double banner, and he gives you the extra fight 6 model with strike.
Yeah.
And again, I think technically he's kind of gotten better because now his 2 might isn't as big a hit because everyone else has lost might.
And he hasn't gone up in points either. So I think it's pretty good. Everything's stayed the same. So super nice for double banner.
Dwarf Shield Bearer's got another nerf for some random reason.
Is that a nerf? I thought it got a little bit better.
No, so the heroic combat thing
is now 6 inches instead of
6
3
inches, so that's a bit better. But he's lost the reroll courage test for all dwarves within 12 inches.
Okay, I missed that. Fine, but I thought, the whole thing is that he's going to get a free combat, but now it can be within 6 instead of 3. That's a pretty big buff.
Yeah, they're still rubbish though. Sadly,
you could take 3 of them, and they're all free combat.
Actually, no. I'll tell you what though. I did miss when I first looked through. He is now a hero of fortitude. Instead of a minor hero. But I didn't realise he was. You take 3 of them for 60 points. Yeah, the one might is terrible, but they have a free combat anyway, so it's just for moves. I think, and I don't often say this, you're probably better off going for Marden.
Well, that is saying something. Were they 5/4 before, or were they 5/5?
No, they're 5/5. They don't have any heroic actions.
They have heroic combat, baby.
Disappointed. I was hoping they were going to do something a bit more with them, but oh well.
Yeah, fine. Okay. Mirror and Jar are, I think, exactly the same.
So pretty much, they've gained. So they've both got Mountain Dweller. Jar's gained Sharpshooter.
Yeah.
They've gone from 3/1/1 heroic stats to 2/2/2.
Oh, they were 3/1. Yes, yeah.
Most important thing is they can lead an army, warband each now.
Yes.
So
it's like the Eladan and Elrohir change.
Yeah.
Which is
so
very welcomed.
which makes them so much more viable, like especially in Iron Hills, because you're just suddenly like you've now got two fairly cheap, solid, okay sort of heroes of fortitude to bump up your numbers in that list. So they're definitely helping Iron Hills. Draw is still only 4+ shoot value, despite being an expert shot and a sharpshooter.
Oh no!
Like it makes me
Dreadful.
sad.
He's a dwarf, so fine. Fair enough. Okay, we come on to the army list, the Battle of the Greenfields, which has caused quite the stir in the SPG circles in the last 24 hours. Why is that, Ali?
Well, it's not because Bamboros can declare heroic combat for free each turn, although that is quite... I mean, I'll take it.
Wait, wasn't that in his profile? That was literally in his profile.
No.
Oh, no, it wasn't. Ignore me. Fine.
No, I usually do. The Ranger... It's not that Rangers actually go up to attacks too, which they don't in some of their other lists. It's not that friendly hobbits are dominant 2 within each other. Within 3 inches of within each other would be great. Within 3 inches of Banderas. It is slightly to do with they get to reroll natural ones to hit when making shooting attacks with a 3+ shoot value on hobbits.
That's pretty good.
The main reason is Rangers of the North are heroes of fortitude for only
Heroes
25
of fortitude,
points.
Baby. Ooh,
So,
that's a lot of models.
Considering the most expensive model you can get in this list is 50 points, and then you've got Hobbit Archers at 5 points or Hobbit Militia at 4 points. You can get some serious model count on the
You've
table.
got Hobbit Archers hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s.
Yeah.
And yeah, a warband of 12 is what? An like 85 points?
What with the Ranger of the North? No, so with the Ranger of the North, you're looking at about 100 points just to make it easy. It'd be probably slightly more
with
than
an
that.
armor. Yeah, fine. But
well, you probably don't go armor and spear. There's no point. You just go like.
Then it's 85 points with Hobbit Archers. Like I was saying, if it's 12 Hobbit Archers. And Ranger of the North, it's 85 points.
Oh yeah, there you go. So that's 13 models.
Yeah.
And you just like you'll get the return of the Hobbit gunline is here. Before people scream this is going to be absolutely broken. It may be a horrible experience in some scenarios, but Hobbit bows are only 18-inch range. They do not have heroic march in this list, and so you will be getting to objectives before them, and so they're going to have to be killing you off the objective.
I was going to say, shoot you off them.
So I don't think the list is broken, but it is hilarious if you can afford that many hobbits.
Go for it. Ashley Walker. Bringing this to a bat rep near you soon? No, that would be awful. That would not be very fun. It'd be funny though. Okay.
Moving on to my favourite list,
Celebrant.
Yeah. So this is the Elder Young and the King of Men list that I essentially used to run.
Here we fucking
old
go,
allies
folks.
back in the day.
Jesus Christ.
We've already touched on how Elder Young is pretty good. You get a King of Men. Oh, actually, more important, Elder Young, who has always had the legendary hero rule, is now actually a hero of legend. So we can rejoice about him finally not being a hero of valor, despite being a legendary hero. Kings of Men are good. We've already kind of mentioned those before. This one is a Gondorian one, so he gets the 3rd might.
Nice.
And then you then only get Captains of Rohan on a horse or Captain Minister, but they're fairly solid now.
Wait, hold on. About the King of Men, is it that they only get the bonuses in the lists that they're in that reclamate the Kings of Men list?
So if you read the additional rules part of this, it says the King of Men which must choose the Gondor keyword as part of its Kingdom of Men special, which because it's the Gondor keyword, it gets the +1 might.
Oh right, okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, fine.
It's got the thing where Rohan can only Rohan, Gondor can only Gondor. This is you then get +1 courage and intelligence if you're within 6 inches of a Gondor and a Rohan hero, which is nice, not end of the world. Last defense, Gondor models get to reroll natural ones when making strikes. Okay, I'll take it.
When you're within range of an objective
marker. Yeah, missed the key bit there. And then charge of the Earl, basically 1 turn per game. All cavalry models that charge get to reroll wound rolls when making strikes.
So you must charge if you're able to do so. So that's everything, and it's battlefield wide. There's no range, but you have to charge. Obviously, you'd be calling it on a turn that you're going to charge and kill everything anyway. But then you're re-rolling everything to wound. So your fight 5, 2 attack, Sons of Earl, re-rolling.
Unfortunately, it's at the start of an activation phase. so you don't.
Ah.
So you know if you're going to charge before you do. So like it'll be after you do roll-offs and things like that.
Oh, okay. So that's, but it's not
so
like at the start of the fight phase.
No. But
interesting.
I mean, it won't make too much of it. But it's like you know you have
That's
charged.
an interesting. Why not at the start of the fight phase? It's interesting. Yeah, obviously one thing that Sons of El have lost because they used to be able to pierce. So that was obviously really
and they
nice.
used
Now
to
they
get
can't
+1
do that,
strength from the charge as well. From the
did they?
army
Of course,
bonus.
in Rohan. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, because that's how you got them up to strength 6, which I remember.
Yeah.
So-
However, this is the ultimate hammer and anvil list. I love this. So I literally came up with an 800-point list yesterday when I
God.
was looking at it. So it's basically it's good might because you got Earl, you've got a King of Men, both got 3. Earl's got a special, and then like a Captain Minister. The King of Men and the Captain just take Warriors of Minister, which are pretty solid.
Yeah.
Like D7 block, and then
And
I had
with a fuck ton of Sons of El.
I had Earl the Young with 12 Sons of Earl, and this is at 800 points, and I still got 40 models with a banner.
That's crazy.
And,
That's nice.
So yeah,
A fight 4 block.
possibly coming to 800-point tournament I go to soon.
He is going to be trying that. Yeah, fine.
But
Looks good.
If
Also,
just
legacies are allowed.
if you want to shoot, you do have to still guard with longbows, which are solid option for shooting because they're strength 3.
And cheaper than Warriors of Middle-earth with Shield Spear. So there you go. Yeah, looks super nice. The Reclamation of Moria, another list that Ali is very fond of, as in having used Khazad-dûm.
Yeah, it's an interesting army list actually. So you get the Ori and Oin as the dwarves who went along with him.
From Champions
You got obviously King's Champion. The hero selection's okay. I don't know if Ori's actually as good in this because there aren't as many heroes who benefit from him. But you basically have to take Balin, which I mean is a given. The special rules, so it's a bit weird. If you control more objective markers than your opponent, you score an additional 2 victory points.
Or if you're in possession. Yeah, if you control or are in possession. Yeah.
Which I don't know how much impact it will have in game to decide if you win or lose. So I don't know.
Minimal.
That one I would actually have to see in practice to see how much difference it makes. All your friendly heroes, if they're trapped, gets the 3 hero defense, which is nice. And then the other one is if you're broken, all friendly models gain +1 to wound from making strikes. So it's quite
nice.
So it's one of those ones. If you're not broken, the game's probably going quite well for you. And then if you are broken, it actually gives you quite a big buff to try and get back in the game.
That's better. Yep.
You do not get Vault Wardens in this list as well, though.
Can sometimes be the hardest thing to, if you're kind of on the back foot and then kind of you start running out of models, it's harder to recover from that, where this now gives you a way to sort of do that. So that's nice.
I don't think this is as good as normal Khazad-dûm. I think you don't get the reroll, you don't get the dominant 2. And so it may be more viable at low points, who knows, but it's not terrible. I don't think it's great though.
You could take Gimli before with Balin, which was sometimes a thing that people did. You can't do that now. Obviously Dwarf Kings are nice anyway, but
if you want to be Femi, you're not
you
shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, you can take the Fight 5 Khazad Guard in this though, because Balin has the leader. Yes.
No, he's got leader Khazad Guard. He doesn't have him. As in, sorry, I was thinking Hearthguard.
So you can take it in this list because Balin has the keyword. So.
I think the King's Champion is essential in that list because you don't get the reroll special rule.
Oh, does he have the leader Khazad-dûm as well, or not? No, it's only Balin. Yeah. So. Okay, and then our final list, Expedition to the East, which is the Murin and Jar list with Kyrian. I guess he was involved with them at some point in the lore.
So when they originally came out, they had a whole campaign with those guys sort of like meeting up together and stuff like that. This is a nice little low points sort of list.
Dwarf Warriors,
yeah, you'll get a lot of models in it. You get Dwarf Rangers, which are good at shooting. You get Rangers of Gondor, which is good at shooting. I probably would go for Dwarf Rangers though, personally. Dwarf Warriors, Minister, solid. Like Moon and Jar, Kyrian, all like fairly alright midpoint,
decent,
low points heroes.
Yeah.
They get Hatred Easterlings.
Sheesh. So you think a 800-point tournament is going to have emperors everywhere. Take this. Although at 800 points, I'm not sure if this is any good. So
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of models though at 800 points.
you would. Yeah.
Unlikely allies, so a reroll ones to wound when you're within 1 inch of a Gondor model, and vice versa with a Minister of model.
Yeah.
Spoils of war. So basically, you choose a bit of terrain on the enemy on the board. Basically, if you end your activation within a bit of the terrain and not engage in combat, you can search for treasure. If
The pirates now.
yeah. How do you discover the treasure? I've missed that bit.
I know, it's a little bit... If it does, your opponent must reveal that it was their chosen piece of terrain. If it was not, nothing happens. If it was, then... what the fuck?
Your opponent chooses a bit of terrain, not you. So that's a bit where I get confused. And basically, if you end up finding the treasure, you get 2 extra VPs.
We got there in the end. Yeah, fine.
It's a cute little rule.
It's an interesting, unique rule. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, and that concludes the goods.
That's it.
Stuff.
We've been through every single profile and army list. Any closing comments? Any thoughts on the legacies as a whole?
So who do you think the biggest winners are? I guess because I think
biggest winners.
I'd say.
Well, you asked me, Ali. So I mean, I'm out of it.
Yeah, I didn't really want your opinion. No, you go for it.
Fine. I'm going evil. I'm going Razgoosh. Love that Razgoosh is good. Army of the White Hand and the Golden King, although I'm not sure he's actually going to be that good. But like as an individual profile, he's been a big winner, I think. But I think Razgoosh, for example, could actually be seen in some pretty good lists now. And obviously Army of the White Hand, I think is with, Thrydon and Gorgoroth, there could be some really nice combinations. Maybe that takes it to being better at higher points now.
Yeah,
maybe
I think that is the
like
main.
That scales it up. So, yeah, evil, I think that's the case. And then we didn't mention... No Armoured Celeborn. We left it to the end for the very die-hard listeners.
Yeah.
He's just been thrown into the void.
Yeah, I think they missed him off their list when they were saying models which are...
And I'm sure they realised, and now he's just gone forever. That is an insanely unique thing that is going to live in MESBG history forever. And then things from the good side, so Eorl, for sure. And the Eorl list as a whole. I'm going to argue the Last Alliance list with Eristor being added in is really, really good. I don't think there were too many huge winners from the good side.
I think...
What do you think?
Fords of Isen has got much... Not that it's great, but it was terrible, and it's gotten better because you got Grimbold and Helmingus again, and you got Outriders.
Oh yeah, sure. I guess fine. I'm thinking of how it was like previously in the last edition, but I guess compared to how it is this edition, it's better.
Fiefdom's big winner just because it got Men at Arms. They may have gone up by a point.
Although, has Fords of Isen really got better? When really it hasn't actually been released yet, and the way it's being released is with Grimbold and Helmingus. So technically,
compared to the information we'd previously had, so the Gondor armies have also benefited from Knight of the White Tower. I think Defense of Pelennor.
Yeah, there's a few other, but they had so many stuff.
I think they fulfill a role that they were missing though. And Men at Arms are good in Men of the West and Fiefdoms and Defenders as an option.
It's an option, yeah.
And the other thing I'll say is the Mordor army list, which have now got 1 million heroes, will help them. And Minas Morgul.
So it seems like those lists that had tons of options now have tons more options. So I guess it's going to be a while then before we figure out what's the best. Maybe that's why they've done it, because they've gone. Everyone was was able to find out everything that was, good really easily, and now they've just put everything into one mixing pot and gone, have fun, work it out. So, okay, but I think that's going to do it. Let us know what your favourite profiles and army lists are from the new Legacy documents. Are you going to be using them at your tournaments, at your home games, and your practice games? What do you think? I hope we use these. What do you think? Do you hope that we use these at tournaments and things? Do you want to see them?
I think from what I can tell, as one of the GBHL TOs, because the question's been bound around, I think 3/4 of TOs at the moment seem to imply they'll allow them at their events. So not all of them, but I think you'll find the majority of people at the moment. Also, I can't remember if we mentioned earlier or not, the GBHL did an announcement this week that they
I'm
will
not sure we did.
provide an FAQ document which TOs can use if they want. And I mean, even TOs internationally, but in the UK, to answer some of the questions if there's any like rules queries that come out, because of where GW have said that they won't. So,
so it's going to be supported by the community now moving forward. Interesting.
Yeah. So they've done a community FAQ before, back last time when we had stuff that wasn't supported by GW. So it's kind of just reintroducing that.
Yeah, okay. I think that's going to do it, though. So I didn't even mention that this was an emergency podcast, but this is an emergency podcast. I didn't say that at the start, but this is going up within 24 hours
if you weren't aware
news,
previously.
So it's an emergency podcast. If you didn't see the thumbnail, people see the thumbnail. Oh my God, emergency podcast. I need a siren. You actually said that last time, and I genuinely searched on Amazon, read siren, and it's only like a tenner. And I can have it there on a little shelf, and it can, spin a light.
Something tells me we won't need it though for a while now.
That'd be pretty lemon. Yes, I think now everything is now sort of.
Yeah, we have a full edition of the game.
We do. So the FAQ will be an emergency podcast, I'm sure. But that's going to do it. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching another emergency podcast here from the Gollum's Gamers.